Well, I'm disappointed. God, I don't like to be taken out of championships. That's what we work for. And we aren't completely out of it. But, yes, I mean, we work hard. We work hard and we expect to win. We'll never be satisfied with losing.
Michigan falling out of the top 5, out of the top 10 in the USA Today CNN coaches poll following the loss to Penn State, and the Nittany Lions, #1 in the country now, followed by Nebraska, Colorado, Miami of Florida, and Alabama, rounding out the top 10, Florida, Florida State, Arizona, Texas, and North Carolina. Colorado State having a great year, #11, Michigan 12th, Ohio State back in the top 25, Indiana 24th, Illinois 25th. And Chris Spielman can take credit for the Buckeyes win over the Spartans, 23-7 yesterday up at East Lansing. You were there on the sidelines. Talk to the team before the game. Was it fire and brimstone?
No, it was. I talked to them. I was fortunate at Ohio State. You know, they welcome you back anytime you want to go back, and I was fortunate enough to be invited to the pregame meal at the hotel. And the only thing I said to them is that basically to realize that you have a good football team, because they do. They have some talent, and just play together as a unit, and you'll do fine. And they did, and I tell you, the defense played extremely well in the second half last Saturday against Michigan State. They really shut them down.
Really shut them down. You're right, because you know the Spartans have usually had one real good half, and in the second half they've had some problems. But hey, give the Buckeyes some credit for that.
Well, you know, the thing with Michigan State, I think their whole offense is based on their running game, like so many college teams, and their big play action team. There's Milt Coleman. He had a great game.
Yeah, great catch there.
And if you stop the running game like Ohio State did the second half, then the pass rush starts coming because they're not ironing their run, and it makes it tough on their play action.
Two coaches on the hot seat in that game. George Perles for the Spartans, John Cooper continually at Ohio State. Maybe a bit of a reprieve for Cooper and some of his critics, but do you sense anything being around that team, around the guys? Is there a particular pressure? I mean, do these guys feel the heat that Cooper's under?
I think they do. They really do. I think they feel a little anxious, you know, and they're pressing a little bit. I think they were pressing against Illinois, and the thing they have to do is relax and realize they can win this thing. They got a tough game. They got to go to Penn State, then they got Michigan at home. But I think one thing that they need to do soon is beat Michigan. I think that's important for the whole program, recruiting, and to satisfy some of the alumni that are down there. But I think Coach Cooper does a fine job. I really do, and I will not criticize him. I'm a loyal fan, and no matter if they win or lose, I'm a Buckeye fan.
And George had a big day yesterday, and a good game overall for the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
Now Michigan, you know, you talk about tough schedules. The Wolverines have had that toughest in the country. Lose in the fourth quarter, tough loss to Penn State. Penn State looks like the team maybe that'll be headed to the Rose Bowl. Maybe have a great chance to win the national championship.
Well, yeah, I think from my understanding that Penn State has to lose 2 because they win the tiebreaker, right? And I think it'd be tough for them to lose 2, but it was good to see Tyrone starting to run like Tyrone again. He's hitting it up in there, and he's hitting the hole strong. You know, he's a great back.
Is he going to be a star in the NFL, you think?
Well, all indications lead that way, yes. And I see no reason why it can't be, but there's been disappointments before, and there'll be disappointments after, but I don't think Tyrone will have anything to worry about. He's too good. He's got it all. But whether he stays healthy and from my understanding, he's a great person and his head's on straight, so I think he'll be a great player, yes.
You know, some criticisms of Gary Moeller following the Colorado game. I'm sure there are bound to be some, play calling and otherwise, after the disappointing loss yesterday. Again, we mentioned, you know, Cooper and Perles being on the hot seat. You experienced that firsthand in your last year at Ohio State.
Right.
Earl Bruce fired before your last game. This is a tough business, this coaching business in the college ranks. You know, looking back to 87 here and the headbands and what you went through there, you know, I mean, what comes back to mind even to this day?
Well, that was probably one of the best exciting moments of most satisfying moments for me as a football player, to see Coach Bruce up there with us carrying him off the field after he's been fired that Tuesday. And he never let that enter into preparing his football team. He never brought it up during practice. He never did anything. The headbands were an idea. It was a great day for myself just to see him carry him off the field last time as a winner at Ohio State University.
Is there too much scrutiny? Are we too tough on these guys, or is there too much second guessing going on right now? Because after every play, controversial play or outcome of a football game, I mean, hey, we're pointing fingers and we're talking.
Well, I mean, that's part of the job. I understand that, but sometimes we tend to be hypocritical. We're saying, well, these kids are just they're student athletes, and the word student comes in, But when
we want them to play like pros.
When winning determines the amount of money that is donated to a university by a football program, it becomes important. Unfortunately, it's not donated because we have a great draw art class or art program. It's donated by your athletics, and that's what money makes. That's where the TV pays money, and you're not going to be on TV if you don't win football games. So we're putting a coach in a no-win situation. You know what I'm saying? We're saying, well, get these kids graduated, but don't break any rules. Don't do this, and still win every game. And it's tough, and especially at Michigan because they have such a great tradition. But I think Coach Muller's done a good job. I think he will continue to do a good job. And
I know you'll be looking forward to Michigan and Ohio State one more time.
In a big way. In a big way.
Yeah. Appreciate your time tonight. We'll see you next Sunday night after the
after we
game,
win.
After you beat the Bears.
You said almost guarantee it.
Chris Spielman, the Lions linebacker, getting set to go back to work. Lions and the Bears coming up, and Michigan State will go back to work. The Spartans get set to play Iowa now following that loss to the Buckeyes.
This is when you want to make sure your team can handle adversity and still have that well, like when I played, I'm using some of the things I learned from my play to handle the situation right now. I hope I'm mentally strong, and I hope I can handle almost any situation. As long as we have our health, as long as we have our family, we should be able to handle most everything.
And welcome back. Lions linebacker Chris Spielman with us after the week off. Time for you to go back to work, so that means you're here with us on Sunday night, and time to go back to work after a bye week. And with the way things were going, a very well-placed bye week for this football team.
Well, I think so. I think the direction we were heading obviously wasn't where we want to be, and sometimes a change of scenery and not seeing the same old faces every day and to get out, come in and start fresh is something that I think our team needed. I hate to admit that, but at the rate and at the monotony that we were getting into, the schedule, it's just something that we had to get out of there. And here we are. We're going to regroup and try to start again and see what happens.
All right, so knocking heads today, you were doing another very important job, baptism for your young daughter, Madison, going to be 7 months old pretty soon. Hey, that's important. That's big.
Well, that's, my family is the most important thing in my life, and I probably would have said that a few years ago, but at this point it certainly is. And it kind of put things in perspective for me, and it was really a great day. It's probably one of the best days I had, and that's why I'm such a jolly mood talking to you tonight, Dave, instead of pounding my fist. And
yeah. All right, but while you still take losses tough, and you're still very, very serious about your business, give me a sense of what having a daughter, a child has meant to you. I mean, does it offer some needed perspective at times in your life?
It does, and when I go home, no matter what the score of the game, and I see her and she smiles, it makes you melt. And it's a thing where, she doesn't know me as a football player. She doesn't know me as a guy that's on a TV show or a radio deal or whatever. She knows me as her dad, and that's it. And that's exciting. And sometimes when we go out in public and people come up and say, "Well, I hate to bother you, but I'm trying to hold the baby, and I got the diaper bag. The wife's going nuts, and I just want to say I'm a little busy right now trying to be a dad. I can't be a football player right now, but to me, it's been the greatest blessing that I have, and that I would have what a daughter means, or a child, any child, is that I have no trouble throwing my life down for in a second. I think any parent can say that, and it makes you understand sometimes how Eric Andelsek's parents felt after he died. I think as human beings, we're conditioned for our parents to die or outlive us one day, but not to lose a child, and I couldn't imagine losing a child.
Yeah, it would be very, very tough indeed. And, you're going to kind of gear back up now with this football team, getting ready for the games again and hoping to turn things around. It's been a rough start. It's been tough. In the paper today,
Right.
Wayne Fonts apparently going to make a change. At least that's what unnamed sources are telling Mike O'Hara. Pat Swilling to be sat down, Tracy Scroggins to start. You guys as a team haven't heard that yet, but a shakeup of some sort wouldn't surprise you totally, right?
A shakeup of some. I don't know if that's the answer or that'll be the shakeup. I have no idea. I have a hard time believing any source unless I hear, of course, from the coach's mouth or see it when we line up on the practice field. I have confidence in Pat. I have confidence in Tracy or Scroggins or Tracy Hayworth or even Antonio London. Whoever's going to play, I think, has to do the job. If a shakeup, that's not for me to say that we need a shakeup because, you start pointing fingers and there's 6 more pointing back at you. Yeah. I think a shakeup would be that each individual holds himself accountable for how he plays each week, and bring that into a team perspective and hold the whole team accountable. And I think we will. I really do. I think Scotty Mitchell got away this week. I read something where he was off in seclusion or whatever. Maybe he went back to the Utah mountains and talked to Brigham Young or something.
Hey,
Brigham Young, Brigham old, just bring him, Scotty.
Yeah,
I don't know.
whatever it takes. All right, and because hey, you guys have to be prepared to play. I mean, the Bears. It's a huge game in your season. They're tied with the Vikings atop the division right now. Kramer's going to come back to town. I mean, this is a game you guys need to win.
Well, we stated last week after the loss that we have backed ourselves into a corner, and it's well documented within our locker room that we definitely need a win. And it wouldn't kill you for the chance to get to the playoffs, but at this point, when you lose 5 games with 9 to go, you're in big trouble. We have to get back on track, try to get back to 500. You got to have short-term goals, intermediate-term goals, and long-term goals. And we just got to take it one, to be cliche, man, we got to take it one at a time. We really do. And just concentrate on getting better each week. But we need a win against Chicago, and we need to create turnovers on defense, stop turning the ball over on offense, and quit shooting ourselves in the foot with the dumb penalties.
Kramer's been out, been hurt. Steve Walsh has done the job in his place, but real good chance Kramer is going to be back in there to start this Sunday, I would guess. Give me an idea of facing your old teammate.
Well, Eric Kramer is a very good friend of mine, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him because of his work ethic. And when he comes in, he usually 90% of the time he did the job here in Detroit. But we understand that when you play Eric, I hope he plays because he is my friend, and that's the kind of competition you want to have.
Yeah. Walsh, though, the job that he's done in the meantime, with Kramer out, hey,
Right.
3 straight wins, that's tough to quibble with,
Well, I read something somewhere about once that said that Kramer is the starter, and I think he's trying to bury any quarterback controversy that might erupt out there in Chicago. And I think that if Eric does come in and we happen to beat Chicago, then maybe there will be a change and Walsh will be the starter.
Of the games today, and I don't know how much you saw, there were some interesting developments. San Diego wins again. Dennis Gibson, a good friend of yours, playing very well for the Chargers, unbeaten Chargers. And a wild one, the 49ers and Falcons, with Deion Sanders.
Yeah, that was good to see. I don't like the Falcons for some reason, but Deion and Andre got into it. And you made a good point. We were talking earlier that if that was any 2 other players, they possibly could have been thrown out of the ball game. But I think sometimes the NFL tends to be a little bit hypocritical. They don't want to throw Deion and Andre out because that's their big draw. And if you lose that, guess what happens? The TV clicker changes over to the other game. Yeah. So I think somebody's calling the shots once in a while besides his referees. That's got to call like I see it, Dave.
I hear you. I appreciate that. Lions linebacker Chris Spielman joining us tonight on the 7 Sports Update. We're going to continue to talk a little college football. His school, his team, they won this weekend. He was there to cheer him on. We'll talk about the Buckeyes and a whole lot more when we continue right after these words. Yeah, the Buckeyes.